This is going to be a conversation about the center school demolition that is scheduled to occur this year in 2015. Our question is why? We need to look at the reasons and how we got to this place and maybe reconsider at town meeting. First, a little history. In 1915, 100 years ago, Hatfield celebrated the dedication and opening of the center school on, on Main Street. It cost $50,000 to build, roughly $20 million today, and was designed carefully to complement Smith Academy located across the street, as well as the Milk School adjacent on School Street. Given the legacy of Smith Academy, a gift from Sophia Smith, it was appropriate that our town center be a vibrant tribute to education as we entered the 20th century, moving away from one-room schoolhouses. Unlike buildings today, like the former Brayer Elementary School that was intended to serve only 50 years, but was demolished in 40, the center school was built to last many times longer. In fact, despite being unused for 10 years, the building remains in very sound condition, both inside and out. Here are a few slides or photographs that were taken only this past March. Here we are in the inside of the entryway to the school. As you can see, the floors, the wooden floors, are still good, and there's a number of other qualities here that you can. Just the architectural qualities alone are pretty nice. Here we are on the second floor in one of the typical classrooms you'll find throughout the building. Again, the blackboards are still up, and it's almost as though class had let out, except that of course there's no desks. The wooden floors are in excellent condition. Notice the ceilings are very much intact. The lighting is good. Again, now we move to the second floor hallway. Again, the floors are good. The ceilings are good. It should be also noted that all the windows pointed to the east were replaced when Western Mass Library was still occupying the building. There were a number of other improvements, including the electricals, which we won't be showing. Here we are in one of the many stairwells. Again, it's almost as though you can hear the kids running down the stairs on their way to the next class, or perhaps across the street over to Town Hall, which was both the gym and the cafeteria at one time. Not so long ago, actually, back to 1980. And now we go down into the basement, and here we see that it's dry, it's clean, and again, this was not in bad shape. Of course, there you will find some old piping and so on with asbestos, but I think this is one of the things that we will want to address, and if we remove it, perhaps makes the building that much more attractive. Something to discuss at town meeting. So reason 2 is really, has there been interest in leasing or buying the building? And the fact is that we leased the building right in 1980, right after the last class left and to the Western Mass Library. They were there from 1980 to 2004. They put in quite a few improvements. They were very serious about staying in that building in 2002, and approached the town and said, "Look, can we continue to lease here? We'll put in several $1,000,000." And the town agreed, and the selectmen said that it would only allow 10-year lease. And the library said, well, we need to have a 20-year lease, and of course moved to this location here in Whately. So then we go on now to 2003, and the selectmen, after having the first committee take a look at the building, declared it to be surplus. And as you can see here, the intention is to sell the building with covenants and easements. And the next move was to put it out. Now, the first time in 2005, there was actually very little response, only $50,000 from the Hilltown Charter School. But the second time, which was in 2007, as you can see here, there was 3 winning bidders out of 5. And it was, for some reason, the selectmen changed their mind about selling it and decided to move it to the 2008 annual town meeting for the town to decide. And here we see this article, Article 8 in the 2008 meeting. And it's somewhat confusing because it says that the town, asking the town to keep it for municipal purposes rather than selling it to the winning bidder, Geordie Herald. But you can see the vote is close, 68 yes, 63 no to keep. So the building stayed in the town ownership. But what it would have happened here had the Herald been allowed to develop it? Well, we can see here that we would have gained, it would have added $2,400,000 to the tax base. And as a result, we would have had about $30,000 a year or $180,000 in revenue over a period from 2009 to 2014. Now, we talk about in our petition article, which is going to be Article 21, we talk about this sales agreement in this petition because it was so successful. And we felt that when we initially went out with a petition that this would be a good place to go back to. But we'll come back to this. We think there's another approach. Then in 2014, after a $50,000 study by the selectmen, again, now the third study in the fall special meeting, we see $300,000, no more, to dismantle the building, but the bids came in this spring at way over that. So now we're going to be asked to spend another $100,000, and we think that that's just not the right approach. This brings us to reason 3, and it's the important question: why is Hatfield seemingly unable to deal with our older historic buildings? We seem to always knock them down rather than find a reuse for them. But it's good right now. Let's take a few minutes to look at how other towns have done this, reused their old buildings. Here we see the Blue Heron restaurant. This building originally was the Sunderland Town Hall. Again, they sold it for $1 with conditions that the facade stay the same and that it not be demolished. And this restaurant has been here, I want to say, 3 or 4 years, very successful. And the town then moved their town offices over to a former elementary school, as you can see here. They put in an elevator, they made it ADA compliant, and they also expanded their library, which you see to the left. Which is connected in. Again, another good use of a former municipal building. So next we'll go to look at Deerfield. Now this is the former Deerfield Town Hall, and again, at this point they sell it to a developer. I think it was for $1, and the developer goes in and turns it into commercial offices. Now, as you can see here, there's probably 3 or 4 of them, and this has been the case for at least a decade, and has been successfully leased out. And then they moved again to an elementary school, added on another part to it, which is now the police department. And they also have a meeting space, which was inside, which was the school's auditorium. And this is a very nicely redone use of a former school. So then, not in a town next to Deerfield is Whately. And here we have, ironically, what was the former Whately Center School. Now, this is a 2-room schoolhouse. And again, you see the milk bottle was moved over here. And this is both the Historical Society and the town offices for the clerk and the selectmen. They still use their town hall for other offices. Now, some years ago, this was the Williamsburg Town Hall, again located in Haydenville, and they have since moved their town offices out and made this into the police department and the fire department. It's centrally located, and they also put in some extra effort into adding the bays for the fire department. This is the former elementary school that was located in Haydenville. This is now the town offices for Williamsburg. You'll find your assessors, your clerk. The upstairs, there's a meeting space up there for small meetings. They do their town meetings still at the Auntie Dunphy School. So basically we come to how were these things done. And this is sort of important because, there was renewal authorities involved in many of these, as well as planning departments, things that Hatfield has not used so far. And we have a renewal authority that has been inactive. Perhaps this is the time to reconsider it. So let's go back and look at the petition again. The petition asks the town to cease dismantling the building, to only go as far as abating the asbestos, and to authorize the selectmen. Again, we have a problem here. Selectmen don't seem to be able to have the resources to carry through with leases and selling. So we'd like to reconsider this petition. We probably will do it as an amendment on town meeting floor. So we'll do this by striking that section that says except for the portion that pertains to the abatement of asbestos and so on, because we're going to be talking about another $100,000 for the dismantling. By the way, less than $200,000 of that is actually going to be asbestos abatement. So now, how can we rechange so this is the amendment we're thinking about, and again to authorize Hatfield, the Hatfield Renewal Authority, to prepare one or more plans by 2016 annual town meeting for reuse, and as a result come in with several plans, hopefully, at least one, that working with developers in the area and coming up with some method to reuse this school instead of demolishing it. Why spend almost $500,000 to demolish the school and get nothing for it? Let's reconsider and rescind the demolishing article from the fall of 2014. Thank you.